Good morning, Mani. Welcome to the iWatch channel. Ashton with Abhi, oneness in astrology and spirituality. What's your question for today?
Good morning, Abby. Um, so my question for today has to do with um something that you've also mentioned in your lives, and something that um I think pertains to a lot of us in this world is the karmic evolutionary process. Um, is it a process of growth, personal growth? What is it? How would
Mhm.
you explain it? Mm.
Okay, thank you for this question. This is something that I always talk about karmic evolutionary process. It's something that I
Yes,
hold
you
very
do.
dear to me because it is me and it is you. We are in this process, just like all life, like the plants, the trees, the animals, you and I. We are all karmically evolving. What is karmic evolution process? What is evolutionary process? What is karmic evolutionary process? It's the same thing. For evolution to happen, one needs to learn the necessary lessons and evolve. So how are you evolving? You are evolving through karma. Your thought karma, your word karma, your action karma. Based on your karma, you are learning the right thing, or you are implementing the things that you have learned to evolve into a better space. What is a better space? In a space of much more knowing. For example, if you touch a stove while it's hot, you got burned. Naturally, you karmically evolved from this because you say to the next person, hey, I don't want to touch the stove because I'll get burnt. That is you exercising intelligence through the use of karmic memory or the use of memory. Memory. Through the use of memory, you have now come to this kind of realization that touching the stove is going to burn me. So you use your intelligence and you don't touch the stove. You have karmically evolved from stove process or stove heating or whatever you may call it. Similar to this here, there is so many thoughts happening in the mind. There's millions of thoughts happening in the mind every day. What you remember is not even a fragment of what is happening in the mind. But the body remembers everything. The mind is being stored in the mind. You may not remember it, but it's subconsciously, the body remembers everything. The more body remembers 5 to 7 different smells every day. If you look at a dog doesn't need to go, the dog doesn't need to do too much of work. It just sniffs its way and it remembers the smell. It can smell all of this. It's because the dog's sense of smell is heightened. Yours and mine is not heightened, hence we don't understand this. But take away our eyes, take away our ears, take away our mouth. I promise you, our nose to smell, we will become so powerful in smelling that we'll be able to sniff 7 or 8 different smells at any given moment. I'm telling you, it's because we are not paying enough attention to our senses. Those senses, senses of hearing, we hear what we want to hear, we see what we want to see, hence we smell what we want to smell. Now, karmic evolutionary process, evolution. Evolution has been happening before us, it's happening now, and it will always happen. This is nature's law. Nature's law means to evolve. Nature is evolving. If you look at the trees, it's evolving from a small plant to a tree. Nature is showing you
Mm.
evolution is happening. From a small plant to a tree to giving beautiful flowers, fruit, it's evolving. As humans, from a baby to adolescent to an adult having children, how much of intelligence have been implemented from baby to adult? So much. We applaud ourselves for this. From baby, we now went to school, tertiary education, got a good job, good car, house, children, married child. We applaud ourselves for this. But there's nothing to applaud about this. Because if you can remember all the things that you haven't evolved from, if you look at all the things that are repeating itself, based on where the planets will bring in the same energies back when they transit a certain house or area of your life. The person who you once dealt with before may be different now, but the energy is the same. If you've dealt with it a certain way before and you haven't evolved from that, you will deal with the same thing the exact same way. So you haven't evolved from this karma. Yeah, you may be eating, you may be sleeping, you may be going to work, but you haven't evolved from this karma. Hence, you are still stuck. You
Mm.
will still be stuck in this dilemma of issue. And dilemma of issue means material, and material means below the astral. And anything below the astral means samsara. You'll come back here. So, karmic evolutionary process means to learn or to evolve from all the things that have been repeated in the life, or all the lessons, to bring about the most profound experience of life, which involves a separation. As a consequence of this, brings you to a point where there's actually a huge separation between you, the true self, and the thoughts. There's a separation from you, the true self, to the body, and you see as a observer or an observer to the mind. You become an observer to the mind and the body. And once you
Mhm.
are an observer, you now have full control with where the mind is going. Hence, you have full control with what the body does. And when you have full control as one who's witnessing all this, the karma starts to shift. The words and the actions start to shift towards spiritual upheaval or spiritual growth. Because you're creating better karma, positive karma. When you
Mhm.
create better positive karma, you're only going one way. You're going high up. You are rising in frequency. And when you're rising in frequency, you're rising to a dimension more towards peace, enlightenment. This is evolutionary process through karma, through action, thought, word. Karma means action. How you evolving? You're evolving through action. What type of action? Positive action. How are you bringing positive action? From learning from your past, your karmic memory. Oh, Jai Shri Ram. I hope it answers your question, Mani.
It does. It does. It does. Thank you, Abby.
Thank you, Mani. Thank you, dear listeners. I hope you are aware of karma. What is karma? I've done a podcast on this. You can go to one of my episodes. It's labeled on the heading, What is Karma? God bless you all. Jai Shri Ram. Till we talk again.
Continue.
Bye.
Bye bye.